From season 4, episode 4 just dropped, and what an incredible episode. Let's talk about it. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it, save this and come back. As always, we pick up right where we left off, and we're in the sheriff's office with Boyd, Donna, Ellis, Jade, Tabitha, and Henry surrounding the yellow suit that the man in yellow took off to become Sophia. Henry decides that he's going to be the one to try to get the information out of Victor. Donna and Ellis continue to prepare to take everyone to the settlement to grab food. Then Jade and Tabitha have a little bit of a conversation where Tabitha apologizes to Jade for what she said in the barn. She asks Jade what he was doing with Ethan, where he explains that Ethan believes that the Lake of Tears is a real place and that he was helping him to find it. We also learn that Jade is going to take those magic mushrooms in hopes of unlocking some memories, where Boyd will essentially be babysitting him throughout. Then we go over to Sarah's house, where we see Sarah and Sophia having an interaction. As Sarah goes to prepare for breakfast, Sophia in her room is making some weird sort of chants. And then seconds later, we see Sarah drop to the floor hearing these noises again. It looks like the man in yellow, aka Sophia, is the one that is influencing and creating the voices in Sarah's head. And later on, Sarah actually confides in Elgin. She tells him that she is actually hearing these voices, and they're telling her to take a cup of water from a jug, sip it, and then put it back into the jug. More on that later. Now, as Ellis and Donna and all of them are going over to the settlement to grab food, Donna tells Kenny to look over Fatima. At this point, we know that Elgin has been collecting all this dirt for Fatima, but we have no idea what she's about to do with it. So Kenny, of course, discovers that the ceiling is leaking, and it's coming from Fatima's room. He goes over to call Boyd. Boyd comes in to ask Fatima what is going on, and Fatima explains that she's trying to create a golem. A golem is supposedly supposed to be like a champion or a protector against these evil spirits. We know this because after Jade had a conversation with Boyd to say, why is she making this now? Boyd goes over to actually ask Fatima, and Fatima tells us that she feels what Smiley feels, and Smiley feels what she feels. And Smiley is feeding off of what she feels, which is fear, and he enjoys it. So having this champion is supposed to make her feel stronger. There is a lot that's happening simultaneously at the same time with Boyd, Victor, Tabitha, Julie, and then of course Sarah as well. Let's go through them piece by piece because they're all linked to the man in yellow. In Boyd's conversation with Fatima, his wife's ring falls out of his pocket and onto the stairs at Colony House. This is the same ring that we saw him take out of a lockbox earlier in the episode. So he runs now to the sheriff's station frantically trying to figure out whether this is a duplicate or whether it's the actual ring itself. He places this ring that he found on the stairs on the table while he goes through the lockbox to find the original ring. And when he pulls out the original ring, the duplicate or the one that was on the stairs is no longer there. So again, mind games and manipulation happening with Boyd. Then we go to the diner where we see Christy and Mariel discussing Sophia, and they seem to be a little bit suspect of her. Sophia and Mariel are really clocking on to the fact that this girl is pretty bizarre. She prays all the time, and they can't even tell how she's really responding to the place, the death of her father, etc. Like, it all seems pretty bizarre, especially for a teenager, or supposed to be a teenager. At the same time now, Sarah is debating as to whether or not she should sip the cup of water after having poured it out from the jug, and if she should pour it back in, or if she should discard it. As she's battling this decision, we see Sophia standing by the pool watching the diner. And although to everybody else it looks like Sophia is just observing, Sophia is observing, but not what they think. She's watching Sarah. Because Sarah decides to discard the water instead of pouring it back into the jug, we see Sophia fall and break her arm. That is an immediate sign to Sarah that she needs to run back into the diner, drink a sip of water, and dump it back into the jug, which is exactly what she does. And then she sits there and just stares at the water until Bacta goes and empties it out in the sink. And as Christy is treating the man in yellow, aka Sophia, who seems to not be in very much pain at all after breaking their arm, she is then saying that this is a test, and then recites Abraham's test from God. This is a direct metaphor for what just happened with Sarah. Sophia was testing Sarah's loyalty. Sophia was testing to see how far Sarah would go to save someone that she thought was in danger, and how easily Sarah could be manipulated to do things. Now, of course, Sarah doesn't know Sophia is the man in yellow, so she actually thinks that somebody that she loves or cares for is actually being hurt, which is obviously far from the truth. Now, for this entire episode, Julie and Randall have been trying to figure out how to story walk and how to take Julie to a specific time, how Julie can navigate her way through this entire thing. They've been looking for answers in Ethan's books. And although they're children's stories, Julie's theory is that perhaps the authors of these stories had dreams just like Tabitha did about places like From. So they go and try this whole bookmark theory. Julie believes if she goes to a time and she marks down on a piece of paper some sort of symbol, that same symbol should show up in itself when she returns. Now, not only did we learn that this bookmarking theory is not working the way Julie intended it to, we also saw the man in yellow eating people, eating the organs of dead people. And Julie was right there firsthand to see it. In fact, she almost became dinner too. This is when we then move to Victor's story, and he shares with Henry some pictures that he drew and buried from his mother's passing. And it turns out that when Victor did actually discover his mother's body, it was being eaten by the man in yellow, aka Sophia. Guys, this was a lot to digest. Oh my God, but we're not done yet. Because Tabitha and Ethan joined Donna and Ellis on the hike to the settlement. Tabitha actually thought that it would be better to kind of feed into Ethan's delusions as opposed to make him feel like she didn't believe him, which I think is the right thing to do, especially when the child's grieving. Donna assures her that she will do what she needs to do to protect those kids and Tabitha, which means I think Donna might become a sacrificial lamb at some point. I hope not, but I think so. Ethan discovers a bird whose wing is broken. He wants to take this bird to the lake to see whether that could be the Lake of Tears, and if it is, it would heal the bird. When they get to the lake, and as they're pouring water onto the bird, one of the other guys, Roger, I don't think I've seen him before, discovers a rope, starts pulling something out of the water, and then in the middle of the lake, we see something start to afloat, and I have no clue what it is, but it cannot be good. I'm very scared for the townsfolk. I thought it was an incredible episode. We saw so much happen, and we got some answers to some things. I honestly cannot wait to see where this season continues to go because it has been incredible so far, and we're only 4 episodes in. Let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment below, and of course, don't forget to hit that like button. We're going to be recapping more, so stay tuned.